How leaders master Law 7. Unlock the secret to power and influence. Law 7 unveiled. Master the game of power. Ever wondered why some people skyrocket to success while others, despite hard work, barely move forward? Ever noticed that colleague who seems to do nothing but always gets the credit? That's the core of Law 7. Get others to work for you, but always take the credit. It sounds brutal, maybe even unfair, but understanding this law separates those who merely survive from those who build real, lasting power. This isn't about exploiting others, it's about a higher strategy of leadership and leverage. It's the difference between building with your own hands and orchestrating an empire. Most of us were raised to believe effort is sacred. Hard work equals dignity and reward. It feels right and is useful early on, but at some point, it traps you. The real world, the world of power, influence, and wealth, doesn't reward effort. It rewards results. More than that, it rewards those who turn others' results into their own capital. Great leaders don't drown in tasks. They aren't the first to arrive and last to leave due to micromanaging. Instead, they see their time as their most scarce and valuable asset. They view the game from above. They know that to scale success, others must work toward their vision. They build systems, networks, teams. They delegate masterfully. It's not about stealing credit. It's about orchestrating, being the hub where all efforts align, the invisible strategist behind visible results. While others execute, you connect, direct, and capitalize. Here's the practical action. Grab a notebook now and list the 10 tasks you did in the last 24 hours. Next to each, write, did this task really need to be done by me? Then ask, who could do this as well as or better than me? After this reflection, pick one task to delegate tomorrow. Not everything needs your hands. To grow, you must multiply your presence through other skills. This is just the first layer of Law 7. It goes beyond delegation or outsourcing. It's about silent influence, about turning your presence into a gravitational center of action and productivity. In the full video, we'll dive into the psychology behind this law and why people often work for you without even realizing it. Like, share your biggest takeaway in the comments, and subscribe to Absolute Power for more transformative strategies. The psychology of influence. Inspire others to work for you. Law 7 might seem cynical at first. Get others to work for you, but always take the credit. That alone feels uneasy for those raised to value individual merit and effort. But to master the game of influence and power, you must see that this law isn't just about manipulation. It's rooted in a deep psychological truth about human behavior. Most people have an almost uncontrollable need to be useful. They want to be part of something. They crave contribution, belonging, and recognition. This is where great strategists shine. They don't impose duties. They create irresistible emotional scenarios where others feel joy in contributing. A true master of personal power doesn't command, they inspire. They don't bark orders. They lead through narrative, purpose, vision. They plant ideas that grow naturally in others' minds as if they were their own. This is the invisible art of leadership. Think of a mentor who pushed you forward. They didn't do the work for you, but you felt energized to do more and better under their guidance. In the end, the victory was yours, but their name was tied to every step. That's not injustice, it's true influence. A leader like this doesn't demand recognition. They earn it naturally as the catalyst of your growth. That's why talented professionals flock to visionary leaders. Even knowing the credit often goes to the boss or founder, they stay. Why? Because being near someone with clear vision, strong purpose, and real power offers more emotional and strategic rewards than fighting for visibility. They feel they're growing, part of something bigger. For many, that's worth more than a name on a report. Here's today's practical action. Think of a current task or project, professional or personal. Identify someone around you with talent or interest in that area. Instead of just asking for help, invite them with purpose. Say something like, I really admire your ability to handle this. I think your involvement would be key to this project's success. What do you say to collaborating with me? Notice how this approach shifts everything. You're not just delegating, you're building emotional engagement. This is the essence of Law 7, making others not just act, but wants to act for you. Not out of fear or duty, but because they see value in it. In the full video, we'll break the myth of the lone hero and show why Law 7 is a powerful way to create legacies, not just exploit talent. Escape endless work. Law 7's leadership strategy. Society taught us to chase independence at all costs. From a young age, we hear things like, if you want it done right, do it yourself, or no one will do it for you. These ideas shaped a generation of exhausted people trying to be everything at once. Law 7 is a game changer because it breaks this cycle and frees you from the slavery of endless work. The truth is, the lone hero carrying everything on their shoulders has an expiration date. It might seem noble, even admirable, but it's unsustainable. Human energy, both physical and mental, is limited. When you try to do it all alone, the result is almost always the same: burnout, frustration, and stagnation. Law 7 shows there's a smarter, more strategic, and infinitely more powerful path. Those who master this law don't work less out of laziness, but because they understand human leverage. They build bridges, form alliances, make their name a magnet for talented people. Instead of drowning in operations, they focus on vision. They think big, plan the future, strengthen their network. While most get lost in details, they conduct the symphony. This isn't about dodging work. It's the most efficient way to multiply your strength without destroying yourself. It's how true leaders and empire builders act. No empire was built by one pair of hands. They were raised by visionaries who knew how to inspire, delegate, and stay in strategic control of the whole. Here's the surprising part. When you apply Law 7 correctly, you don't just benefit, you strengthen others. When you involve someone in a project, you give them a chance to grow, develop, feel useful, and valued. You share responsibility, but also offer purpose. The doer feels pride in contributing to something bigger than themselves. That's leadership in its purest form. The biggest trap is believing that if you don't do everything, something will go wrong. That thought is driven by fear, perfectionism, and control. But deep down, it's insecurity. True strength lies in trusting the process and the right people. It's knowing your role isn't to be the engine of everything, but the brain behind the machine. The more you free yourself from operational tasks, the more you can think like an architect, the one who designs the entire city, not just builds a single wall. Here's the practical action. Look at your routine. Which repetitive tasks do you still insist on carrying? Which could you delegate, automate, or eliminate? Do an honest review. Freedom begins when you realize being essential isn't about doing everything, but doing what only you can do. In the full video, we'll explore how this law ties to ethics and why using it consciously is one of the greatest displays of true leadership. Like, share your biggest takeaway in the comments, and subscribe to Absolute Power for more transformative strategies. Ethical Law 7. Build power with integrity. Many reject Law 7 instinctively because they think it promotes manipulation, exploitation, or dishonesty. Get others to work for you and take the credit? It sounds almost like a betrayal of ethics. But that's the biggest misunderstanding. Law 7 doesn't have to be used in a dirty way. It can be a pillar of ethical, inspiring leadership, as long as you grasp its true spirit. What separates a manipulator from a visionary leader is intent and impact. A manipulator uses others as disposable pieces, always chasing personal gain at any cost. But a true master of Law 7 knows lasting power only comes from building trust and genuinely valuing others. They may take the final credit, but never at the expense of others' dignity. Instead, they lift those around them, knowing this sustains their authority long term. Being the architect of a great project takes more than strategy, it takes character. And this is where many fail. They grasp the mechanics of Law 7, but lack the moral strength to wield it with integrity. They want to reap rewards without nurturing bonds. In the process, they burn bridges, lose allies, and sabotage their own reputation. If you want to apply this ethically, the secret is simple yet powerful. Acknowledge privately, claim publicly. When you benefit from others' work, be the one who thanks, encourages, and rewards behind the scenes. But in front of the world, know how to solidify your image as the brain behind the project. That's not hypocrisy, it's wisdom. All great leaders do this. Steve Jobs was known as the face of Apple, but behind him were brilliant engineers, exceptional designers, and silent strategists. Jobs didn't do it all alone, but he made sure to be the symbol of the brand. And that's legitimate because he knew how to gather talent, guide them, and turn ideas into revolutions. You don't have to choose between being ethical and strategic. True leadership is about blending both. When you learn to use Law 7 with moral clarity, it becomes a tool for building, not dominating. You become someone who inspires collaboration, brings out the best in others, and still stays at the center of the narrative. That's not ego, that's intelligence. Here's today's practical action. Think of someone who recently contributed to your success, even indirectly. Send them a message of gratitude. Acknowledge their effort. At the same time, reaffirm your vision, your leadership, and your role as the orchestrator. This small act builds roots of trust that sustain true power. In the full video, we'll reveal how Law 7 ties to the bigger game of influence and why true masters know when to step back, even as the world keeps talking about them. Share your biggest takeaway in the comments, and subscribe to Absolute Power for more transformative strategies.